You're going to meet with Lee Chen-sung?
He is arriving day after tomorrow.
I think we both know what he's after.
Yes. I expect him to offer to pull his troops out of Ling Valley.
Yes, on condition that we do the same.
That is one of the things we will talk about.
Do we pull out if Sung does?
If he makes that concession, in the interest of peace, we must do the same.
Bill, 6 months ago, while we were campaigning in Dallas, you gave me 5 solid reasons why American strength in the Orient was as vital to our security as our missile program.
There is nothing wrong with your podcatcher. Do not attempt to pause it. Welcome to a private recording about 3 separate anthology series, each a masterpiece in its own way. This is the dimension of gushing. It is an area we call the Sci-Fright Zone.
Welcome to the Sci-Fright Zone, where 2 fans of anthology series go for the Outer Limits, Night Gallery, and the Twilight Zone. I'm Diana.
And I'm Alisha.
Okay, we're finally back to the Outer Limits for its interesting second episode.
Yeah?
The Outer Limits has a vibe that you're not even fully aware of because you've only seen 2 episodes.
Yeah.
This is not like any other Outer Limits episode. It was written and directed for the show, but it almost feels like an episode for a different show that they just changed last minute. This is
Really? Okay.
This episode's so different that, like, when you got to the end of the episode, they showed, trailers of what's coming up later in the season. Because I guess they wanted audiences to be aware that, no, the show's not like this. We need a giant scary monster every episode. And this didn't have a giant scary monster outside of a particular nationality.
Yeah. I mean, other than, the general theme of paranoia, I guess, from the first episode, they're super different.
We don't have a galaxy being, we have an Asian being here.
Oh, God. How are we ever going to talk about this?
Every time we say something, just imagine we're apologizing as well. Because if we apologize for every positive thing we say about the episode, this will be double its length. But it's an uncomfortable watch as well. It's an of its time episode.
Absolutely. This is very much we are aware that this thing has problems. That just because we're saying nice things about it too, doesn't mean we don't know that, It
is such an of its time episode that this episode couldn't have come out a few months later. Because 100 Days of a Dragon ends September 23rd, 1963. And 2 months later, there was a certain presidential assassination that happened.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah, so this episode is...
Oh! Yeah, that's unfortunate.
This episode really came out at, the last minute it really could have.
Yeah, that you could tell that kind of story.
I believe this episode might have even been pulled from, reruns for a little bit. Written by the combination of Alan Bolter and Robert Mintz, and directed by Byron Haskin. We have an interesting episode that takes place, quote, somewhere south of the Mongolian border and north of the Tropic of Cancer, in that part of the world we call the Orient. A slumbering giant has awakened itself to wakefulness.
So we're off to a great start.
Yeah, and instead of being racist to a specific country, like China or Korea or anything like that, they basically get all the East Asian stereotypes and put them into one. So everyone is, it offends everyone and no one at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So that makes everything to follow just completely okay.
Exactly. Because you see, Lee Chen-sung... Fuck, this is going to be a hard episode to record. Just stay tuned for next week, we'll talk about Night Gallery. But Lee Chen-sung is an irresponsible threat to peace. But in America, there is a candidate running for presidency called William Lyon Selby. And basically every poll predicts he's going to win. He's a shoo-in for president. So the evil Asian non-specific government is thinking, okay, we need to infiltrate America. We just read The Manchurian Candidate. We saw the movie. We know how this goes.
Yeah.
But we also have some cool science fiction here. So what we're going to do is, we've got this man. We've got an Asian man called Ho Chi Wong. And he has committed to memory every known detail of Selby's life. He's studied up on it. He can even do a faultless imitation of him. This man is everything Selby. He's even missing a specific part of his finger because the real Selby lost part of one of his fingers in a hunting accident years earlier. It will be established Selby is the worst shot in the world. He is very inaccurate. So, which is weird because he goes hunting, but...
Yeah. Those two things don't mix very well, but whatever.
Yeah, well, when Dick Cheney did it, it went well, so...
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
And also, his missing finger totally isn't just his finger bent down at some points.
Yeah, this is one of those episodes that really would have benefited from watching in, early 60s tube TV.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. I'm sure, a lot of little stuff like that you notice would not have been so obvious on a CRT.
Exactly. And it also helps that we can pause and rewind, whereas back then, if they saw that, they'd probably think, oh, it's just a weird lighting issue. That didn't actually happen. I'm imagining it. The TV was gaslighting them, whereas now we know that they didn't have two separate actors that they cut the fingers off for this, so...
Because I guess nobody's committed to art anymore.
And the thing is, the finger detail... it doesn't really come up, except it's another way that, it's basically only there because it just makes a replication of Selby seem more Selby-ish, I guess. But they could have done the whole episode without the finger. There isn't, any real plot to it. It doesn't come up as, a Chekhov's gun. It's just, here's a detail of this man to flesh out the world.
Yeah, and it shows, how important this technology they use... how effective this technology they use to, copy Selby is.
They have this little syringe that we later find out was invented by those evil Russians. We'll name them specifically, just not any Asian countries. But Russia developed this serum where if you inject it into someone, it basically is a plasticity thing where it can temporarily make your face basically like clay or dough or something, where you can just mold it as you want. And they do a really... The effect they do where they just warp this guy's face with their hands, I love it.
Yeah, I really loved it.
Yeah, they're just see, we can fuck up this guy's face. We're gonna crush it in like Mario 64.
Yeah, they just smoosh it all up, move the eyes and the nose around. Yeah, they the effect is really fun because they zoom in and it's just the guy's head in clay, and they can just zhuzh it. But it was really cool.
But thankfully for convenience, they have a perfect one-to-one mold of his face where if you just stick this bowl on your face, you'll get the exact same facial imprint of this guy. I don't think they ever explain how they got this. Did Selby, just put his face in something and people took that?
I don't know. But yeah, I didn't even think about that. They didn't explain it. But I love the weird little face cake molds. It's so silly, but it's so fun.
Not only do they stick this mold on to change his face, they also have his fingerprints. And they'll use it to basically change Ho Chi Wong's fingerprints into Selby. From this, we cut back to America, where Selby is doing his election campaigning, and everyone loves him. He's being, hounded by fans like he's the Beatles or something. He's, trying to just get to his hotel room, and people won't leave him alone.
Yeah, he's getting swarmed.
It's, interesting, because, this is in, a JFK world, and I could imagine, JFK being swarmed by lots of, people wanting him, but this is just, a middle-aged man, where he doesn't seem to have, the same appeal. Because he had, screaming women that wanted him.
Yeah, he definitely has more, pawpaw energy than, JFK.
He seems friendly, though, but,
But more dadly.
And we don't know who he's running against, so maybe he was running against the least appealing person in the world.
That's very possible, yes.
Selby's, Selby spends most of this episode surrounded by, like, his daughter, his vice presidential running mate, and people in that circle. His daughter's husband, who is more important than she is, actually.
Yep.
And they're all saying things like, hey, we've got this, you're gonna win. And Selby basically says, don't get too complacent. Election day is the only vote that matters. Just remember Harry Truman. Is important. That would have been a very relevant commentary to the people watching. I wonder, how much people even remember that now. I guess now that we have a Trump beating Hillary moment, which no one expected 10 years ago.
Yeah, honestly, that's a pretty good parallel, yeah.
No one even remembers Harry Truman. Unless they're singing We Didn't Start the Fire.
Yeah.
Now, Ho Chi Wong has shown up at the hotel room directly opposite Selby. And he uses a duplicate key to get into Selby's room. Once again, like, they don't explain it, but, that's easier to believe than, like, an exact facial mold.
Yeah. You can fill in the blanks pretty easy, I think.
And as we know, this is like a perfect technology. It's not just a look-alike. It's like they got the same actor to be both roles. And then, so he barges into the hotel room, and in a cool shot, he points his gun at the original regular Selby, who is very obviously confused right now, seeing his own clone come up with a gun pointed at him.
Yeah, that would be legitimately terrifying.
Every time this episode shows two of the same person in it, it's done really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was honestly impressed.
Instead of shooting Selby right then, he pistol whips him to kind of knock him into unconsciousness. Then he injects Selby with that same serum and brings his own mold in.
Yeah.
So it'll look like a different man is in the room, which is a really good plan.
They change his fingerprints too, and give him a new finger.
This is what Lee Harvey Oswald should have done, but he didn't have enough time to change his plans. He'd already committed to everything by this point.
Yeah, he probably didn't have any face cake molds. Rookie mistake.
Well, actually, I'm forgetting the X-Files is real life, so that's not how it happened.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Once Selby has been made to look like some random guy, then Ho Chi Wong, as Selby, shoots him. For the rest of this, I'm just going to start calling fake Selby, because it's easier to say and easier to remember, because everyone else will think he's Selby. From this point on, Ho Chi Wong is Selby all the time, and the original Selby is a dead man that doesn't look like him.
Yeah, that scene was honestly pretty brutal. I was surprised. They just showed him full on shooting him.
Yeah, he shot the president on TV in 1963.
I wasn't even thinking about it in context at the time, but yeah, that's wild. Or it was about to be the context.
We're getting closer and closer to... I want to pull out the broadcast date of every episode, because we're getting closer and closer to that happening. There will actually be an Outer Limits episode that had to be postponed a week because of what had happened with JFK. If you can imagine, that kind of took over TV for a little bit of time. We cut to fake Selby, recounting what had happened to the police and his family and friends. Just saying, an intruder barged in saying, "You'll never be president." Which obviously doesn't happen anymore, because all elections are, great, and no one tries to stop anything.
Oh, no, that's never happened. That'd be ridiculous. Fiction is fiction.
I'm just not even going to say what I'm thinking. I'll say it. I'll just cut it out. They should do this to Trump. They should change his face.
Oh my god. They should Selby Trump.
Fuck. Anyway.
Moving right along.
But, Selby's saying that he doesn't want this to be reported, listed as an actual crime or anything, because he doesn't want sympathy votes. He's doing his best, but, he probably doesn't want this to be investigated any further. And while this is happening, his running mate, Pearson, is like, I didn't know you kept a gun. So that's red flag number 1. Especially for a man that is terrible at shooting things. We then see a montage of the campaign, which only has a couple weeks left at this stage. And we see him winning over everyone, including a Native American, where it shows Selby wearing a headdress.
Yeah, I was like, God damn it.
Yeah, they had to put in one other race that makes this episode uncomfortable.
Yeah.
After this little montage, we see Selby, his daughter, and running mate Pearson sitting at sitting at a hotel, watching all this on TV, watching the presidential debate on TV.
Yeah, and he's like killing it.
Yeah, he's killing it. And Selby is commenting like, I love like this new phenomenon where we can watch campaigns on TV. It's fascinating.
Yeah, he was like, it really puts it into perspective when you can see yourself or something like that.
Like, JFK was really the first like TV candidate. Probably why he won. He had a face for TV. Whereas Nixon was a bit less appealing.
Yeah, and he knew how to like JFK knew how to like carry himself on TV too.
And we never see who Selby's running against. It could be Nixon again for second term. This episode's presumably set in 1964, so unless like from their point of view they're writing in that he's beating JFK, the still alive JFK, which I could not see. Like Selby's got some charisma. He's got some old man charisma, but
not cool Kennedy charisma.
Everyone loved him except for one guy in a book depository, which hadn't happened yet by the time of this. So Selby is like he's trying to really appear to be as Selby-ish as possible, but like his daughter is like, oh, you didn't eat that food I made specifically for you. And he's like, oh, well, women don't want to vote for a chubby candidate.
And then we all have a laugh. But yeah, it's like he keeps getting caught on these little things.
Yeah, because you could know as much about a guy's public life as possible, especially back then, pre-internet. But you wouldn't know like what foods he likes or his hunting accuracy. Yeah.
Favorite movies. What guy in his neighborhood he thought was like a total asshole.
And this is the kind of stuff your loved ones would really pick up on. So I kind of love that because like throughout most of the episode, Selby is killing it basically, and like he seems just like the guy that we saw little snippets of when he was alive. He seems very like warm and nice, and even when he does some evil shit later, he does it in such a friendly, charming way that I can't help but be on his side. The people close to him, bit by bit, pick up on small little flags. And speaking of small little flags,
yeah,
Pearson is like, let's go hunting, that thing we love doing. It'll be a nice thing, on election day, and we can see the results later on when we're at home. That seems like a nice fun thing to do. Go playing around with guns right before you maybe become leader of a country.
Yeah, with your boy in the woods. Take some life.
So far away, they take a private plane to get there.
Yeah, oh my god.
Like, was there nowhere nearby to hunt?
Yeah, there had to have been, like, something. You don't have to go to the special rich man woods.
And, like, the first thing they hear are grouse, which I don't think are, like, limited to a very, like, specific part of America. I feel like you can find grouse in lots of areas. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know much about the grouse demographic.
I'm not exactly well-versed in the ways of the grouse, either. I'm not even really sure what it looks like, but I think it's a pretty common animal.
I know it's a bird. I imagine duck-like, but even then ducks. There are ducks everywhere. There are a million places to hunt birds, even, And this is the 1960s, and there's way fewer protections on what animals you can shoot, even. And if you're the presidential candidate, you could kill a person and still get away with it, probably. So they don't need to be this specific.
Yeah, like the part where the guy was replacing Selby, and they just kept walking back and forth across the hotel hallway. I was like, don't they have cameras? Like, why are you guys being so like out in the open about this? And I was like, no, they probably don't have cameras.
They don't have anything. They've got like a court artist sketching the room every few minutes.
I was like,
that's all
it's the past. They don't have that.
This is also that one of those good eras where not every single minute of private life was recorded and kept by the government, so...
Yeah. Oh, the past.
The Patriot Act hadn't been invented yet, so... Sorry to make this episode about killing the president political.
Yeah, wow. Don't mean to take it too far.
While they're, about to hunt some grouse, a rattlesnake pops up, and immediately Selby shoots it dead. And Pearson's like, what the fuck? You suck with guns. How'd you do that?
Yeah, I think he was like, this is like the second time in 20 years you've ever hit anything that you aimed at.
Why do you take him hunting? Does Selby really like hunting? It's not like Selby suggested it. This was Pearson suggesting, let's go hunting, just you and me. And then the second he hits something, he's like, wow, how'd you do that?
Yeah.
I don't think this is like something Selby loves that much by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I mean, you can have hobbies that you love and then you just absolutely suck at it, but I don't know if hunting can be one of those hobbies or should be.
I'm not going to gatekeep the hobby of hunting, but I feel like if you go hunting every now and then, if you go hunting within a decade, multiple times in a decade, maybe try to shoot at least 2 or 3 things. And maybe that's why they took the private plane, because they had to go somewhere where there's no people in case Selby missed.
Maybe. That would explain it.
Yeah, it's like, this is the special Selby section.
Yeah, cordoned off the crazy old man who's bad at guns section.
Yeah, unless he shoots off another finger.
But this is yet another thing that's tipping the people close to him off that perhaps something is not right.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because Selby gets home and sees he won in a landslide. He's the new president-elect of America, and the evil Asian plan worked. They've basically got a new spy in charge that can do all the evil Asian bidding.
Oh boy.
And next, we then see Selby in office. We don't have to watch the months of him waiting to be president, which is good. So we cut ahead presumably a few months in time, and Selby seems to be doing okay as president, but then he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to meet with Lee Chin-sung and just discuss things. And Pearson is like, why? That guy is awful. He's evil. He's an evil Asian man. Don't do that.
Apparently before he got elected, he was saying that a strong American military is the biggest, most important thing. And they're going to negotiate pulling troops out of this particular valley. If one of them agrees, they'll both agree, and the vice president thinks that's a dumb idea and is kind of the opposite of what he was saying he was going to do if he got elected.
Yeah, in this weird, wild, unrelatable time, the American military is we need to be as big as possible, and we need to be stationed in every part of the world, which is thankfully no longer an issue.
We've scaled it back. We're reasonable, not just throwing our weight around.
Selby wants to make peace. Pearson saying, no, you can't negotiate peace. You can't do this. This is bad. And Selby saying, negotiating peace is a good thing. You see it as a weakness, but, it's good diplomacy to do this. Which everything evil Selby is saying is actually true, but he is the bad guy. Pearson doesn't become likable until the very end of the episode. I know that Selby is actually trying to do something to objectively evil country more powerful and do more harm to the world. But Pearson doesn't know that, and from Pearson's point of view, Selby is just saying cool shit. But, we have to hate this.
Yeah, I think it's just from his point of view, it's, him kind of flip-flopping on something that seemed to be important to him. So he's like, what are you doing? I guess. But yeah, what he's saying makes sense. You gotta be flexible and be willing to change your plans, but...
Pearson's like, oh, if they pull out their troops, that's 500 miles, but if we pull out our troops, that's 5,000 miles. But also, what the fuck are your troops doing there anyway?
Yeah, we don't really get any context about what's going on in this fictional valley that we're also worried about.
Despite all of this, Selby still agrees to talk to Sung, and I don't know if it happened prior to this, but this is when I start noticing when Selby's doing some evil shit, he squints his eyes.
Yeah.
And it's a bit uncomfortable.
I noticed that too, and I really did not appreciate it.
Yeah. It's kind of like, now that, it's just you and me talking, other Asian man, now I can drop the facade. We'll keep speaking English, of course, and not our native language.
Of
but
course.
We'll change the eyes so you know that we're of the same team.
Yeah, it was pretty gross.
In retrospect, they could have had them speaking a fake Asian language, which would have been more uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. That would have been way worse, yeah, but... Yeah, he just makes this weird little face. Like, it bothered me every single time.
This is the worst instance of it, because there are other times he squints and, you could almost justify it as, he's feeling suspicious or unsure or something. But no, this is just him talking to another Asian man in a private room. Just being like, yep, gotta go mask off and show that I'm one of you guys by doing this really racist thing. In the show's defense, this episode has lots of actually Asian actors. It's one of those things where they could have made it even worse and didn't.
Yeah, none of them are doing, over-the-top accents or anything, which honestly really surprised me.
Yeah, they're just regular Asian American actors who didn't get a lot of work in this time. Selby and Sung are talking. They're saying, we'll get you a new vice president tomorrow. So they're going to replace Pearson with the same plastic mold technique. Because Pearson isn't being a team player here. He's not team evil Asian fictional country.
He's too suspicious.
They already have a man ready, and they're going to switch places at nighttime. We cut to Pearson at night, in his home, just doing normal stuff. But then he starts hearing some creaking in his house, because we know the assassin is here right now, sneaking about. But before the assassin can do anything, there's a knock at the door, and wow, it is Carol, who is Selby's daughter, and more importantly, Bob, the husband to Carol. They come in to basically talk about how Selby hasn't been himself for quite a few months. It
was honestly it was a pretty sad scene. His daughter was just talking about how he knows all the right birthdays and all the right anniversaries, but, he just seems so cold.
She says that she doesn't love him anymore.
I know! But, just imagining that scenario, feeling like somebody that you love, I don't know, has been replaced or has just changed in some implaceable way. That'd be so scary.
Yeah, and they don't, no one knows what is happening. They're all suspicious that he's just not himself.
Yeah.
They're not thinking he's been replaced. It's just...
Yeah, they just don't get what's going on with him.
She's just I don't love him anymore because he's just been cold and distant.
He doesn't, meddle in her life lovingly like he used to. Just sad.
And then Bob, the husband, is yeah, he doesn't even talk to me about stuff with, I think it's Apollo?
Yeah.
Just, space stuff. Doesn't talk to me about that anymore. You have to know, he's a scientist, because he'll give us an info dump soon. But, it's really sad in the context of, I don't know, I didn't think, I don't expect this episode, whenever I rewatch it, I kind of forget about this scene, where they're just I don't love him anymore, he's distant and weird. And this is an episode about, espionage and political assassination. And then we just get this really down-to-earth scene that is, it's hard to watch.
Yeah, there's definitely, putting aside the disturbing implications of what the story's actually trying to say, just the idea of people in your life who you're close to being, replaced or being changed, that's pretty scary. That's a horror concept, and I think they do a pretty good job establishing how uncomfortable that is with the little things he keeps getting wrong.
While they're having this emotional scene, our assassin is a bit clumsy and he accidentally knocks over a bunch of golf clubs.
Yeah.
And then he runs out because he knows his cover is blown. And while running out, Pearson sees his duplicate face to face.
Yup.
And knows that there is a clone of him out there.
And we get that one of those cool special effects shots where they're like, would it be blue screen at this time?
No, they would have had to composite the actual, like...
Oh, okay.
Like, with the they would have had, proper composite, which would have been a bitch to do.
Yeah, oh my god, big time.
We need to film the same scene twice and, like, merge these together in, like, a horribly time-consuming process.
Yeah, god, I bet that was so hard.
And they do it really well.
They do.
Like, it's... And, like, even watching this in HD, you know, it doesn't look obviously fake.
Mm-hmm.
It looks pretty natural. From my layman's point of view, if you told me, oh, they actually hired an actor with an identical twin, I would have believed it even, because it's just that, like, it's that natural looking.
Yeah, they do a good job with the special effects.
Especially because this episode doesn't have an expensive monster suit they had to make.
Yeah, exactly.
So they have to put all that stuff into this.
Just cool duplicate stuff.
Pearson is now, because Pearson already had guests over, he's just like, hey, I just saw my clone. What the hell's going on? And then Bob, the man that has had no impact in the story whatsoever, is like, oh yeah, I'm a scientist, and I know that the Russians are making this serum to basically turn you into plastic and let you mold your face. So that's probably what's happening.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a leap, but...
I mean, he's right.
Hey, he is right, so whatevs.
Like, this episode would be entirely different if Bob didn't exist.
Yeah.
Carol couldn't know this because women weren't allowed, you know, hobbies or jobs yet.
Yeah, anything other than doting on the men in their lives.
Because of this, Bob and Pearson basically figure out exactly what is going on. And Carol's, you know, there as well, I suppose. You know, she's watching them figure it out. They're like, okay, we know a way to prove, without a doubt, which Selby, like, if Selby is really himself. Let's set up a dental appointment. And then they set up a dental appointment, and then immediately, as soon as that happens, Selby's like, cancel the dental appointment.
Like, because of course that's what he's gonna do. Yeah, I don't know, Pearson... And there's another thing, like, when the assassin left, Carol and Bob were like, why don't you come stay with us, you know, so you can be safe. And he's like, oh, he won't come back. And I'm like, what do you mean he won't come back? How do you know that?
Well, he has a gun, so...
Well, sure, but...
No one... Would you mess with the old man with a gun?
I mean, I guess not.
Because their foolproof plan of dental appointment is thwarted, they're like, okay, let's dig up the body of the man who died in the hotel room and check his dental remains and compare them against Selby's dental appointments. Dental records. So they try to do that, and then they find out we can't because the body was cremated.
Yeah, rough.
Evil Asian Empire really thought this through. Good on them.
Yeah, they really did. Covered their tracks.
Yeah, it reminded me of... Have you ever seen the TV show Prison Break?
No, I've never seen Prison Break. I know it's a really good show, but...
Well, it's an okay show. It's one of those shows that starts good and gets gradually worse.
Oh, rip.
And then becomes a guilty pleasure. Like, it's about a assassination like this as well. The evil government in that is like, okay, we're going to actually take out the teeth of the man that we fake killed and put it in the body of this dead man.
Oh, ew.
So the dental records actually do match.
Gross. Yeah, that's going the extra mile. They just burned him.
Yeah, that's the extra mile. This, unfortunately, they didn't go quite that far, but this is still pretty good way to cover your tracks. There's some kind of function happening the next night, I believe. Or it could even be that night. I'm not too sure what it is, but there's lots of, looks like dignitaries and other political people there. And Pearson walks in, and it tells them exactly what's happening. It's like, look at that door. And they open the door, and they show fake Pearson. Apparently there was another assassination attempt, and they all thwarted it off screen. Mm-hmm. Just to do this dramatic reveal. Yeah,
with the help of the Secret Service.
And Pearson was like, arrest the president, he is a fraud. This is like the worst, political, assassination in history. This is like a breach of so-and-so.
And a horrible act of espionage.
In a real-world setting, I don't know if the vice president could arrest the president like this.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty extreme circumstance, but yeah, I don't really know the protocol.
But, yeah, Pearson wins, and then he injects fake Selby with the syringe and fucks up his face.
Yep.
Just to prove that this technology is real.
Yeah, they do the cool mushing up the clay face shot again.
And we now have President Pearson. And the episode's like, oh, do you want to go to war and retaliate? And Pearson's like, no, that won't solve anything, actually. Which is nice of him. And then we have like a narration basically saying that there's no good that can come from war. And other stuff that was probably really inspiring to people decades ago, but nothing has changed in our world, so
Yeehaw.
It's a bit sad to hear. Yeah, that got depressing, but in the terms of the show, it was a happy ending for every good moral person except Selby, who died horribly and is cremated. But
yeah, sorry, Selb.
The good guys won.
Yeah, they just also they talked about how the evil government had already replaced some other people in the American government, so gonna have to sort that out.
Or they could, Operation Paperclip it. Get us on the moon a couple years earlier, even. Now, before we rank this and go any further, just going to do that thing that you're going to fast forward through. Don't forget to check us out on social media at sci-frightzone.bsy.social, and my personal account is at freezer.bsy.social.
And mine is at birdwoman.geekcritique.org.
Perfect. Okay, now to everyone that skipped ahead a few seconds, let's get back to the ranking. Now, since I went first last time, it's your turn. How do you rank the racist episode?
Oh. That's so hard
How much do you love or hate our wonderful Asian audience?
No, don't put that on me. That's not what this is about.
Okay, how do you rank the episode that is uncomfortable?
Oh, man. I mean, just putting aside the xenophobic implications of the plot, because, boy howdy, is that ever xenophobic. I mean, as a story, I'd probably give it an A.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, not an A to xenophobia and racism, but just the plot as it is.
And just to clarify, you like this more than the Galaxy Being?
Yeah, I feel like this is a step up from the Galaxy Being. And I like the Galaxy Being. It's just this one, yeah, there's a lot more, I guess, meat on the bones.
I get it. At this point, the Galaxy Being is still the lowest rated thing that you have done. I am excited to see when that changes, because I thought this might have been it. I like this episode. I like it maybe a bit less than the Galaxy Being, but not by much, and a lot of that is the uncomfortableness.
Yeah. Like, I'm just trying to think about it in terms of a story. Yeah.
It's a good story. It's well acted, well produced. Everything about it is good, except for the uncomfortable stuff.
Yeah.
Which, that's what holds it back.
Absolutely. Like, I am not excusing any of the messed up implications of what the episode's about. Just
no, I get it. I think I'm just going to give it a B because I am torn. It's one of those things where I would if this episode wasn't what it was, I would maybe give it an even higher rating, but
yeah.
This is a nice episode to watch. This isn't an episode that I tell people, hey, you've got to watch this episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is an episode that comes up on rotation, and I find it fun. It's funny to think this is the second episode. You go from Alien talking about, how there's no God, and then we go to evil Asians infiltrating America.
Yeah, and it's kind of like opposing morals in a way, because, one is being like, don't freak out just because someone or something looks different or seems scary. And then in this one, it's like, oh, look out for that scary foreign country. They're gonna invade our government. It's just weird.
Yeah, that's the beauty of a show that has multiple writers. But it's worth noting, this episode, despite being the second one to air, was actually the 7th episode produced. So, like, I find it weird that this was episode 2 to air, but I guess it was like the second one that was ready to go or something. But they didn't go, okay, we've done Galaxy Being, now let's go Evil Asians.
Yeah.
They had already created cool aliens and weird monsters that you can't even comprehend yet. And then they were like, let's do a change of pace and do something more down to earth.
A change of pace for the second episode.
But, like, from production standpoint, I get it. It's just, audiences didn't know what to expect. So I guess that's probably why they put that preview at the end of the episode. You get to see the fish monster and other fun-looking things.
But I can see why they would want to correct any incorrect assumptions people might have about what the show's going to be like from that. If it's so different.
This episode almost feels more Twilight Zone than Outer Limits. Because Outer Limits really does, like, cool monsters.
Yeah.
Cool monsters and social commentary, whereas Twilight Zone is social commentary and fucked up shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that's exactly how Twilight Zone would have handled it, but it definitely is more closer to Twilight Zone in tone.
Yeah, they would have handled it a bit differently, especially if it was handled by Rod specifically. This episode was, like, in terms of airing, this was the first episode that had Conrad Hall do the cinematography. When we talked about the Galaxy Being, I said there were 3 cinematographers, and Conrad Hall is the main one that you'll see most of the show, or most of the first season, I should say. So this episode kind of had a better, in terms of, like, visuals, this episode was a huge step up from the Galaxy Being, I'd say.
Oh yeah, it looked really good.
They had better shot composition, the shadows, it looked really good, yeah. Conrad Hall is great at that, and this was not his first episode in production, so he'd already warmed up a bit by this point. The title, 100 Days of a Dragon, do you know why it's called that?
I mean, other than the, racist reason.
The racist reason's what I thought, but it's not. Well, it might be, okay, it's less racist than it might seem.
Okay.
It first comes from the 100 Days of Napoleon, which is what they called the time from when he returned from returned to France from Elba until his downfall at Waterloo. So that's the 100 Days of Napoleon. Mm-hmm. Dragon has a twofold meaning, one of which is, the kind of Asian-sounding thing, but also, if this episode took place in the election year of 1964, that was the year of the dragon.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
So it's a fun little, it's better than it sounds.
Yeah. There were more layers than I expected, so that's nice.
And I've got to do the thing where I go over all the actors that are important, and
yay!
I'm sorry to say, we only have a hat trick by technicality. This is, like, the most disappointing hat trick. Robert Brubaker, he played a man named Brian. If you're wondering who that is, I don't know either, because he's listed as uncredited, so he wasn't in the official credits. He was also in a Twilight Zone episode called The Arrival, where he was uncredited.
2 for 2.
And Night Gallery, he was technically credited, but it wasn't an actual Night Gallery episode. So when Night Gallery was in syndication, one of the many things they did was to get it up to 100 episodes. They took shows from another episode called Sixth Sense and turned those into Night Gallery segments by cutting out things and then having Rod Serling open them up with, like, his introductions. So it's not actually Night Gallery, but if you're watching Night Gallery syndicated on TV, this is technically Night Gallery, even though it's part of another show. But yeah, he played Dr. Cluster in some episode of that, so technically a hat trick, but not officially.
It still counts, it's fine.
I'll count that with, like, a huge asterisk, because yeah, It's not a real Night Gallery. Night Gallery is a huge fucking mess on TV. Unless you're watching it... If you're watching it in, like, the early 70s, you got to experience it fully. And then you didn't get to experience it fully until home media, in particular for DVDs. The DVDs had every episode unaltered. Beforehand, you had some VHS and Laserdiscs, but they didn't complete the entire series, unfortunately. So yeah, most people that grew up watching Night Gallery would have seen shit that doesn't count. And that's one of the episodes, so good on them.
Yeah, it's such a mess. Oh my god.
I don't think Rod would be happy with what happened.
No, I don't think so. Jesus.
There was another actor for this episode who wasn't a hat trick, but he's someone that you may be familiar with.
Okay.
Pearson's assassin, before he becomes a white guy,
Yeah.
was played by a young actor who still has a career today.
Oh.
James Hong. He's done a lot. You know, I'm gonna say a few things. He was in Blade Runner as Chew, if you're familiar with that.
I've never seen all of Blade Runner. I'm a fake fan.
Have you ever seen Seinfeld?
I haven't seen a lot of Seinfeld.
Well, he was in the Chinese restaurant episode, which is where I know his face from.
That makes sense.
More importantly, he was in Wayne's World 2 as Cassandra's dad, if you've seen that.
I haven't seen Wayne's World 2. I'm so sorry.
Oh my god, that's okay. I'm building up to something more pop culturally famous. He's in the Kung Fu Panda movies.
Really?
He plays Mr. Ping.
Oh.
Which I think is his dad or something. But he's like... He's like a character actor that you see in lots of stuff.
Well, I have seen Kung Fu Panda.
There you go. He's also in Big Trouble in Little China.
Cool.
Which I haven't seen, but everyone talks about it.
I haven't seen it either.
I also know him for being... Wendell and Wild is a animated movie from a couple years ago, which is really good and no one saw it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Jordan Peele produced it.
Oh, sweet.
Which is the only way... He also wrote it as well. Co-wrote it. Which is how I know about it.
Oh, was it that stop motion movie? Yeah, that one was on my list. I know what you're talking about. I wanted to see it because I love...
It's a good movie. It also has a trans character in it, which is cool.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I love animation and I love stop motion animation, so...
Yeah, he's in that. He's the guy that you recognize his voice. He was also in Turning Red. And most importantly, he was in one episode of Family Guy from 3 years ago. I'm sure that's exactly where you know him.
Oh, fuck yeah.
He's one of those guys that he never stops acting. He's been in so much stuff. Usually small parts, like one episode here, or, you know, lots of voice acting, but also lots of stuff. He's, like, still alive, and he's been... I'm just going to see when his earliest acting was. He has been acting since 1953.
Dang. Another super long career.
But yeah, if you know what he looks like now, and then you look at him in this episode, it really is just the same guy but younger, which is obviously how aging works. It's just fascinating seeing him so young. Because I associate him most with, at the earliest, like, 80s stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, James Hong is currently 96 years old and still in stuff.
Dang! Get it, James Hong?
His Wikipedia says he's one of the most prolific character actors of all time, and he's worked in over 500 productions in American media.
That's so cool! Yeah, I didn't know he was so prolific.
And in 2022, he received a Hollywood Walk of Fame. So it took him that long, but
Oh, that's bullshit. But of course.
But yeah, no, he's a beloved Asian American actor, and it's just weird to see him be a little baby face in this.
Yeah, he's so small.
So for the next Night Gallery episode, it's a combination of 2 storylines. And Alisha, I want you to tell me what you think happens in The Dead Man and The Housekeeper.
Oh, come on.
You've got the 2 most generic names here. So, what do you think happens in these two descriptive titles?
Well, just going by the first episode, there's no way in hell I'm gonna get this right, but... okay. The dead man. Let's do it. I gotta get weird with it, because I didn't get weird enough for the first episode. Okay. I'm gonna say The Dead Man is about a funeral director who is in charge of, getting a body ready for a funeral. And I don't know, weird stuff starts happening, like the body starts moving around and he gets all paranoid. And maybe it's something like that. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
And we have the housekeeper.
Okay, the housekeeper. Okay. I'm gonna say maybe the housekeeper, sees some supernatural shit going on. Like, she works for, a weird, aristocrat or rich recluse who's doing some crazy rituals or something, and she has to solve the mystery of what they're trying to do. Maybe.
We now return control of your podcatcher to you. Until next time, when the control voice takes you back to the Sci-Fright Zone.